Hey guys, so this is my third video. This is a sequel to my second video that I just made and just posted. This is my comedy sequence to The Line to Heaven and The Line to Hell. Okay, so I've explained The Line to Heaven. Now, here's the other aspect to this. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, there are a billion people standing in line, and you gotta wait through that, but day by day, and you're ordering things, and you get up to there, and so you better save your tokens. So, that's my point on that aspect. Now, you're wondering about what happened to the people that get cremated? Well, the people that get cremated, I mean, if you've been buried or whatever, obviously, you're in that line to heaven or whatever. Well, the people that get cremated, they show up in boxes. It's kind of like the UPS system or FedEx, or go a step further and say the airport. It's actually more like the airport, like baggage claim. And that's such a hassle when you're in heaven because people are showing up in boxes, like by the thousands or by the millions. They're showing up in boxes because they're being cremated. Well, on the other side of that gate, they got a revolving belt that goes around, people's names on them, and then your family members up in heaven are just waiting. They're just waiting. Oh, so and so just died, and so they got to stand in a long line. They're just waiting on you to show up. And then when you show up in a box, or they hear that you showed up in a box, they're actually kind of mad about it because, like, oh man, he didn't get buried. This guy's too cheap. Oh, I mean, what did he do with his life? I taught him a bunch of things, and your grandfather's up there waiting in line, or your grandmother. I taught him a bunch of things. Why did he get cremated? For crying out loud. This guy got freaking cremated, right? Like it's ridiculous. Now we gotta stand in line on the other side of this line, waiting on people like it's the airport. Well, it is like the airport, and I hate to break all your guys' hearts, but your poor relatives up there in heaven are now standing in baggage claim and looking for a box with your name on it. And there could be 100 other people with your name on it, and they're hoping that you left a little insignia going, oh, hey, speak to me. That one speaks to me. And that's what your grandparents or your dead relatives are hoping for. Hey, maybe that box will speak to me today. They've been standing there for a long time because, like the airport, sometimes that stuff gets lost. It could be going to your area or it could be going down below. That's where they have to sort the lost packages. And sometimes those lost packages, they take a little bit more time to process. Sometimes they even go down below. And you guys know what I'm talking about when I say down below. Now, and I'll get to that. My next point is that while you're standing there and your relatives are standing there waiting on the belt, they can see other dead relatives showing up in line, and they know that they've been through that process. They got to do all that while they're waiting there in line to find your name on a box. It's on a belt, just like the airport. And for anybody that's ever been to the airport, you just hope that your luggage is there. You just hope that your luggage that you have carefully taken care of and you have spent some time with and you have packed and you have cared for almost your entire life. I mean, this is somebody but it's just like luggage. You have done these same things with them. You know them, you have packed them, you have prepared them to take this trip, and you knew that they were coming here. You knew that they were coming here. You knew what kind of person they were. You knew that they were a great person, and that you had no idea in your mind that they were coming to heaven. So you're standing there waiting in line, waiting in line, waiting in line. You are waiting in line. Only on the other side of the gate, because you're already in heaven, there isn't that guy. There's not that guy. That guy that yells peanuts, popcorn, cotton candy, hot dogs, burritos, balloons, animal crackers, stuffed animals, hot dogs. He's not there. That guy is not there. So those guys, your relatives, luckily they're in heaven. I mean, they have nothing else better to do. except maybe a baccarat game with Elvis. Maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe they were in the middle of a baccarat game with Elvis, and they were like, "Oh man, really? Another relative died, and he's being cremated? Ah, this is the third time this week. I can't believe this. This is the third time this week. You know, last time this happened, I was I was having a poker game with George Burns, and now I got to go down and claim my grandchild. All right, guys, just leave it where it's at. I'll be back." So they're down there waiting on you, and they got to go through the whole line. They even got to go through security, make sure they're not trying to get out. You know, there are people in heaven trying to get out. You know, maybe they don't like heaven's beliefs. They wanna get out. They want to be a lost soul, or they want to maybe try and get back to their body. Maybe they went through the line too quick. Maybe it was just too quick of a process for them, or maybe they want to figure out what hell was like. I mean, you never know, right? So anyway, my point is, finally they get up to line. And they're the first person in line. And it always sucks being that first person in line waiting on the belt, because you got like a million other people standing behind you. And it's not like you're at a ride at the amusement park where there's only like 200 or 300, or like, you're waiting to get into a movie where there's only like 5 people. There are like a million other people behind you waiting for you, and only you, because you're that number one guy right there waiting to collect your grandchild in a box that hopefully speaks to you. Like, hopefully somewhere in this mess of a jumbled mess of the airport heaven security of boxes on a conveyor belt, you hope that one of these is going to speak to you. Because the longer you stand there, the more impatient the guy behind you gets. And then the more impatient the guy behind him gets, and the guy behind him gets, and so on and so forth, and etc., etc. Well, that happens a million times throughout the line. So you hope that one of these boxes speaks to you soon, because if not, you're just going to give up, and then they just transfer back to lost packages. And you hope that you made such an impression on your grandparents, or such an impression on your uncle, or your brother, or your mother, or your father, whoever got chosen that day to come and get you and pick you up was kind-hearted enough to come even claim you. When your parents say that they don't claim you, or they don't want to claim you, or they don't know you in your real life, imagine this, standing there waiting to be picked up. You're in a box. You know that as soon as you get picked up out of this box, poof, that box turns into your soul. And then you're suddenly in heaven. But you know your parents, you know your grandparents. And if any time in your lifetime they said, "I don't know this guy," or "I don't know you," or "I don't know who he is," those are your relatives, ladies and gentlemen. You better hope that that box speaks to them. Oh, shit, that's funny. I can't tell you how funny that is. That shit's hilarious.